Welcome everyone uh, to the session from Sam. He's with us to talk about creating an unexpected moment for good with Agile. So without much further delay, over to you, Sam.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. Namaste from me. I'm Sam. I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia. It's a pleasure to be sharing this story with you today. So welcome. The story today is a fascinating one, which I'm really excited to be sharing. Before I kick off the story, a little bit about me. I am a certified Scrum trainer. My day job is teaching and helping people to learn about Agile. And I think it's a great privilege to help people learn and grow every day. Before I became a full-time Agile trainer with the Scrum Alliance, I was working at CommBank in Australia. And CommBank are one of the largest Agile companies in the whole of Australia and Australia's biggest bank. So I've seen lots of things in terms of how Agile works at CommBank, but also I've been involved over many years. And I'm going to share some of those stories with you today in terms of what I've learned. Now, I want to kick off today with a video. And the video is going to tell the story of this movement, an unexpected movement for good with Agile. You're going to hear from some of these companies that I've been working with. They're all not-for-profits. They are doing things to help the community and they're using Agile. So I'm going to play the video. We're going to go for about 3 minutes with the first video. So video goes for 3 minutes and then we will pause and then I will get into the detail of my chat. I'm Sam from Red Agile. We are Australia's leading Agile and Scrum training organisation. At Red Agile, we like to help people who help others. Every training course has places free of charge for our partners from the not-for-profit community. Let's take a look at the impact this has had on their businesses and our communities. Welcome to our guests.
My name's Andrew Miller of Oz Harvest Australia.
Adam from Cerebral Palsy Alliance.
Carmen for BBM Youth Support.
My name's Anna Melton from Indigenous Consulting Group.
Hi, I'm Natalie from NPS Medicine Wise.
My name is Olivia and I'm from Beyond Blue.
How does your not-for-profit help everyday Australians?
We're a not-for-profit mental health organisation that provides support and services to the community in Australia with a focus on anxiety, depression and suicide prevention.
We give out scholarships for young people in agriculture, trade and horticulture to go overseas for work experience.
We're an Indigenous-owned business and specialise in cultural awareness training. We also deliver mental health first aid training out in very remote areas.
The groundbreaking global centre of expertise for cerebral palsy research, advocacy, intervention and assistive technology innovation.
The development of healthcare education products.
We're a food rescue charity.
What's the impact been of Agile?
We've used Agile now with Sam's coaching for a fair few years. I think the key benefits for us, it keeps a check on our productivity. It's given us a tool to review, do that continual, and really embed continual improvement in the way that we function.
Our journey with Agile and Scrum has been truly transformational for our little team and for our organisation. We became a self-organising team. We had greater transparency and trust. We knew what each other were doing and not just get on with each other, but actually be able to do large chunks of each other's work.
Learning more about Agile has helped us better embrace community centricity. We are engaging and testing with our community regularly and able to respond to their feedback more quickly.
The impact of learning more about Agile has been profound. We needed to improve our ability to not only adapt to change, but thrive through change. Instrumental in this was the engagement with Sam and Stu at Red Agile, which provided our newly created team with the confidence and courage to challenge the old ways of working.
We'd like to extend a very big thank you to Sam and the team at Red Agile. Through COVID, it's allowed us to be very nimble and swap from a face-to-face training platform to an online version.
Working in an agile manner has streamlined and facilitated the development of healthcare education products. For example, whilst clinical leads are verifying clinical content, medical writers are developing the next stream of work. Thanks to Agile, NPS Medicine Wise is able to develop robust healthcare educational products in a shorter time frame.
All right, we're going to pause the video there. I'll come back and we'll go into a bit more depth when we get to the end of the session. So all of these organizations we've been helping in different ways. And if you look at the different things that they do, Cerebral Palsy are helping people with disabilities. Oz Harvest are a food rescue company. All of these companies are doing different things. Beyond Blue are working with people with mental health and suicide. All these companies are using Agile to help them run their not-for-profits better and to help them do more great things in the community. I'm going to share this story with you and talk about the why we did this. Why did all of this come about? Why did we create this movement? And I call it an unexpected movement. I did not set about and plan to do this. What's happened in the last 6 years has been surprising and phenomenal. I'll talk about why it all started. I'll then talk about what we did. What did we do? And I'll talk about how could you do something like this? How could you get started and create something that may be an unexpected movement for good? So let's start with why. Why did this whole thing start? Now, I'd like, please, to get some input from all of you in the chat channel. Make sure you're sending a message to everybody. What do you think is the critical success factors in us delivering projects at work? Everyone put something in the chat. Use the Zoom chat, press the chat button. What do you think is the most critical success factor for project delivery? Prasanth, thank you. Prasanth says the team. Give me some more, please. This is the interactive bit for the team in India and wherever you are in the world. What else? So team, thank you, Prasanth. What else, please? Sridhar talks about inclusion of the stakeholders. I like it. Give me some more. Empathy. Thank you, Tej. Tej is talking about empathy. Give me some more. What do you think are the critical success factors for delivering projects well? Let's get one more view. All right, I'm going to move on. So thank you for sharing. Let me give you Sam's view. So thank you, Vijay. Focus on value. Now, I've been working and delivering projects for many, many years. And the success factor for me is simple. Look after the humans. Look after the humans. Let me tell you, well, what do I mean by that? Look after the humans. There are 3 things that I want to give you in terms of looking after the humans. Number 1, care about their well-being. Care about the well-being of the people on the project team, but also care about their development in terms of what they might do next. If you help people with what they do next, they're going to help you and do more right now. So help them with their future. Number 2, know the people. Know them, build relationships with them, get to know them beyond the workplace, build genuine relationships with them, and then support them. Make sure you've got their back. That's the second part. The third part of the people is not just you, maybe as the Scrum Master or the leader, whatever your role is. Help everybody get to know everybody. A high-performing team, everyone knows everyone, and everyone's got everyone's back. That, to me, is the secret for creating a high-performing team. Look after the people, and the rest will just happen. The rest will just happen. So that's my first premise. The first premise for this talk is that we need to look after the people delivering our projects. That was kind of at the heart of where this whole movement started, looking after our own people who are delivering the work. So as part of this and creating teamwork, I started to think about how can I create this sense of teamwork? What can I do? And this was, by the way, when I was a project manager. What can I do to open spaces for people to build relationships outside of work? I'm going to share with you some of the things that I did to what I call open spaces for people to build relationships and rapport. One of the first things I did many, many years ago was we got external companies in who had all of these games that you could play outdoors, and we had some fun working and learning games with ropes. So we just did some play. So just playing. And I know that in India, having been to India many times, I've been to India 3-4 times to work with teams there. I know how much you love to have fun and to play games, yeah? So this was an outdoor game playing with ropes, one of the first things I did. I also did an amazing race. in Sydney, and we did a selfie challenge. This is the project team. Look at their faces. These are people at work getting paid. This is what I mean by helping people have fun, creating spaces for them to have fun. It was a fantastic day. And also doing things like this, kayaking and having fun, maybe with just having a picnic in the park and having a barbecue together. So opening spaces where people can just chat and they can have some fun. The other thing I did was, in terms of understanding each other as humans, is I started to look at personalities and how do we understand each other as humans. Now, some of you may have done some of these tools at work. They help unpack, what am I like as a person? On the top left, you've got DISC, which is a quite common one in the corporate world. At the bottom, there's a tool called Human Synergistics. On the top right is TMS, Team Management Systems. And on the bottom right is a free one. So if you want a free one, write this down. It's called 16 Personalities. If you want to learn more about your people, get them to do the 16 Personalities survey. All of these profiling tools are done with surveys, and then you debrief and you learn about each other as people. We understand how we are similar, but also we understand how we are different. So this is an example of some of the team building days that I used to do to try and create a sense of team. And then an opportunity came up to do volunteering. And I decided to send a team on a volunteering day to see what happened. And what I wasn't expecting is that when we helped our project teams do something in the community, something amazing happened. The impact for people was huge. This is one of the events that we did. We took a whole team of people to Oz Harvest, where we were cooking food. You can see on the table in front the way we were working. Everyone was cooking. We were cooking rescued food. The food would have gone to waste. And the food ended up going out to our community. The food that we cooked went out into the community and was given to the people who needed food. It's called Cooking for a Cause. It's a fantastic team building activity, and the people absolutely loved it. This is a recent photograph of my team here at Red Agile in Sydney doing Cooking for a Cause just at the end of the pandemic. And here's the food that we cooked. Phenomenal. The food that we cook is fresh, beautiful food, and it goes straight out to people in need. Another activity that we did was the New South Wales Special Olympics. We were helping with people with disabilities learn different sports. They were doing things like throwing, they were doing basketball, we were teaching them with running races, just simple stuff. It wasn't the real Olympics. This was just a fun Olympics where people with all sorts of disabilities could come together and we would help them learn. We were connecting our project team to people in the community who were less advantaged than us. The final one was called Cana Farm. And this was a place where people came to rehabilitate, people who'd been in prison, people who were long-term drug abusers. They're not the people on the screen. The people on the screen are my project team. The project team went to work on the farm with these people and they had conversations. Imagine talking to people who have got long-term drug addiction problems who are trying to rehabilitate themselves. It was confronting, but it was amazing in terms of the conversations that we had. These three ladies are all recovering from drug abuse of some sort, and one of them has been in prison. We help them in terms of how we can work with them and learn from each other. A fantastic day, a huge impact on the people in our team. But then there was an impediment. I was doing all of these activities and I was being supported by my manager, but then my manager left. And the manager that had supported me doing all of this team building and community work, the new person who came in was less supportive. The new person who came in didn't think this was a good use of time, and it impacted me. And I had to dial it down for a while. I did the only good thing that you can do, which was move into a different job in the company, and I started again. So if you've got a manager that doesn't support you to do this stuff, I think it's so important. If we can't look after the humans, you've got to do something about it. You've got to fight for this stuff. It's so important. And these volunteering days, the volunteering days that we did, were the things that people enjoyed the most because they were helping others. And as well as having some fun as a team, they were giving back. They were giving back. And that's why we started this whole connection with not-for-profits started with team building. That's why it started. And it was a formula that motivated our people to come to work and help them make a difference. It was a winning formula. That's the why. That's the why. I'm just going to pause and just ask you all to share in the chat. What have you been doing with team building? Just share something in the chat, please. What sort of things have you done in terms of team building? And have you done something in the community? Maybe you've done some things in the local community with your project teams. Please put a message in the chat. What have you done in terms of team building events? How do you connect? Maybe it's going for a drink. Maybe it's having a meal together. Share something in the chat. What have you done with your teams, please? This is the interactive bit. Please share something in the chat. What have you done? What have you done? A virtual lunch in the pandemic. Thank you, Prasanth, for sharing. Icebreaker sessions is great. Yeah, icebreaker sessions to get to know people. Virtual coffee, VJ. Thank you. So a lot of the things in the pandemic made this stuff harder. Going for lunch together. Hopefully now we're back in the office a bit more. We can do more of these things. Connect as humans. I remember when I came to India, so many times I'd go for dinner with the teams. We'd do some fun stuff after work. So many things. We went to the cricket sometimes to watch the IPL. So many good things. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk about what happened now. So how did things move? How did we start this Agile movement? How did this all start? I was at an Agile conference, just like you are today. And the Agile conference was in Melbourne in 2016. It was Agile Australia. And there was a keynote presentation from Marguerite Purvis. And she had come over from New York. She works at the New York Food Bank. She's the CEO. And she told a fascinating story of when two people from a company called Toyota came into her company and made a massive difference. In just 8 weeks, they brought in some process improvements and really made a difference to how her food bank was working. And this gave me a spark. I thought, wow, if these two people from Toyota can just go and help the food bank, what can I do? What can I do like this to help others? It was within 6 months, I was back at Oz Harvest, and I was doing Cooking for a Cause, the charity event, and I got my light bulb. I spoke at Agile India for the first time back in 2018, and thank you for having me back. So 4 years ago, I was speaking in India, and I told this story. I told the story of what happened and how the movement got started with Oz Harvest. I'm now going to kind of tell you what's happened in the last 4 years since I shared this initial story. So it started with one not-for-profit. Here is our very first not-for-profit, attendees coming to a training class. So the movement works like this. I teach training courses. They're 2-day training courses, yeah, for people in corporates. And every time I run a training course, 2 people from a not-for-profit can come for free. I've been teaching today, so I've just finished teaching. It's 7:30 p.m. here in Sydney. I was teaching today. There were 2 people from a not-for-profit today on a training course. In this picture, there are 2 lovely ladies who work for Oz Harvest. This was the first time we had participants come to the class. And they came free of charge to learn about Scrum and Agile. And then lots of interesting things happened. But the first thing that happened is after they'd come on the first training course, I went into their office to see what had happened. So we'd trained them in Scrum and Agile. I was hoping they were starting to do some good things. Now I went back to their office and each person had created a visual management board above their desk, yeah, to do, doing, done. The next person had a visual board above their desk to do, doing, done. They'd missed the point. Instead of it being a team visual management board, each person had created their own visual management board of their own to-do list. They missed the point, so I realized I had to give more. So rather than just training, I gave some more time, just like the team had done at Toyota, and I gave some coaching. I was coaching them to work in Scrum, and I was helping them learn and grow beyond the training course. More people started to come from Oz Harvest to our training. I was lucky enough to meet Marguerite Purvis 2 years after the first time that she spoke in Australia. She came back again, and it was fantastic to meet with her and share with her how she had given me this spark and this light bulb. Back at Oz Harvest, what have we been doing in the last 4 years? So many things. I run team building events for them. We run retros with the people who drive the vans around Australia. We've done strategy days. I've done fundraising in terms of getting the bank that I was working for, CommBank, to donate a lot of money towards one of their educational programs. So it led to a movement of coaching, mentoring, team building. I would just go and help them every week in some way, and they would decide how I could best help them. I didn't expect it to evolve like this in terms of helping Oz Harvest. And it then evolved to more not-for-profits. Our first not-for-profit was Oz Harvest. As I was speaking at different Agile conferences in Australia, I met not-for-profit people who were in the room. So not-for-profits had started to get involved in the Agile movement. I met some people from the Cerebral Palsy Alliance who work with people with disabilities. I met some people from NPS Medicine Wise who are doing medical research using Agile, and I invited them to join our classes. I was working for a big bank. I was training people in Agile and Scrum, and the not-for-profits were coming for free. This is when the movement really started to get some traction. It became a way of working. Every training course, not-for-profits came. Every training course, we gave it away for free, and we were helping people. And I was also connecting coaches, learning from the lesson that coaching is important. I was connecting Agile coaches to each organization. So we're having Agile coaches giving their time for free to help the organizations be on the training course. 2 years ago, I left CommBank. I left the bank I was working for who'd supported me through this, and I joined a company called Red Agile, who I now work for here in Australia. And I'm now a full-time trainer. So what's awesome now, I'm a full-time trainer, I can do even more of this. And my partner, Stu, who you can see on the screen, has supported this. And between us, we are helping more and more not-for-profits. And even though I change companies, we're still doing this great work. We have nearly 1,000 Google reviews for what we do. We're the leading Agile training company in Australia and maybe in the Southern Hemisphere. We actually get a lot of people come from India, from Bangalore, from Chennai to come on our training. And we're very proud of what we do. We got too successful. We got so successful with our training that the courses were full. And how can we keep giving away the free places on the course if it's full? And we had to pause and just say, can we keep doing this? And there was a moment when it was suggested to me that we stop offering free places for not-for-profits. And I said this: if we stop doing this, I'm out. This meant so much to me in terms of what we were doing for the community. I was prepared to leave. So we kept going. We squeezed them in. We squeezed them in by hook or by crook. We were working virtually. We squeezed them in and we kept going. I'm going to share the second part of the video. We're going to listen to a little bit more detail now on specifically what have they done with Agile. Here comes the next 3 minutes. Hopefully the audio's good. Here we go. Second 3 minutes of the video. Let's go deeper into some of the specific stories and examples.
And give visibility across the organisation around what is happening, the ability to remove roadblocks much quicker, just an overall efficiency in what we do. So thank you, Sam, for teaching us your techniques.
This emphasis, together with customer-centred design, has led us to develop an industry-first portal that allows our clients to manage their services with us, with clients being involved in the discovery, prototyping and pilot phases. This process has taken us months, whereas previously it might have taken years. We've learned to fail fast, how to prioritise and reprioritise, and make sure that value fights for its life.
So when we started our Agile journey in 2019 with a new CEO who had previously been trained by Sam and Red Agile, we saw the impact almost immediately. Continuously deliver value, to continue to be a high-performing team, and to have the satisfaction of delivering meaningful, valuable work. So that was fantastic. And the greatest impact of this agile transformation for us has been that everybody shows up with enthusiasm and everybody truly loves their work, and we work beautifully together as a team. We do it with enthusiasm, and that's really what we want to thank Red Agile and Sam for.
Working in this manner has also acted as a risk management tool. Once a stream is completed and reviewed, errors made are addressed immediately. In the past, MPS Medicine Wise worked in a waterfall manner, meaning that the entirety of the content would be built and reviewed, which then caused a lot of rework if errors were made.
We've also developed a lot of new products, so we've used this methodology to roll this out, and it's been a huge success. So thank you again to everyone at Red Agile.
Our teams are cross-functioning, so we always have the right capabilities in the room to make the best decisions, and the collaborative atmosphere is a great environment to work in. We embrace stakeholders to become more involved. Now they have more context and better forums to give feedback, and this has allowed the team to move faster without lengthy approval processes. They trust our capabilities more and now trust us to release changes to the community faster and more regularly. Team autonomy is creating a psychologically safe environment for members to speak up more, to have healthy conflict, and to also chance to change and improve our workflows and processes. We will continue to be agile and learn new things in the organisation, but after 4 months, we are already at the amazing part where myself and team are empowered and enthusiastic about our jobs, what we deliver, and how we work together every day.
So it just warms my heart to see the impact of what we're doing. The stories about value fighting for its life and that focus on delivering value. The stories about teamwork and how people are connected as humans at work and doing fantastic things as high-performing teams, and the feedback loops people have created. So phenomenal just to hear so many different stories about the different not-for-profits that we've been training is actually making an impact. And that's why we do it, of course. We do it for the impact and how we can help them, we can help them help others. All of these companies are helping people in different problem spaces in Australia, be it the people who are homeless. We've got Mission Australia who look after the homeless. We've got food waste. We've got lots of companies around mental health and mental health support, as well as dealing with people and helping people with disabilities. So I'm very proud of the organisations we've helped and what the impact has been. So let's change track now and go to how you could do something like this. How could you create a movement for good? Or how could you just do something that helps motivate and inspire your team to know each other better as humans and to do some great things together? So in terms of what I would love you to think about is what motivates your people. I worked out what motivated teams in Australia, which was doing team building around volunteering. That's what motivated the people here. But what motivates your team? What is it that gets them excited? And how can you give them more of it? So I want you to start with that. Let's not just copy however Sam's done this, but what can you do? So what motivates your team? When it comes to purpose and working on something bigger or something of a higher purpose, Zappos, who are an online shoe retailer, gave this really nice kind of how happy we are at work. If you kind of deliver great work, you're happy. If you deliver work in flow and you're really engaged with the work, you're happier. But if you can be part of something bigger than that, you're doubly happy. So really looking at this engagement, if we can get involved with something of higher purpose, it really helps us in terms of engagement. Zappos have got some great family core values, which I enjoy, and brings them this purpose, which is to be a family. That's how Zappos present themselves as an organization. Patagonia are an online retailer, and if you look at their website, they are in business to save the planet. The purpose for Patagonia is the environment, and everyone who works there gathers around that purpose and gives something back. But it's not just about purpose. The work of Ryan and Decky help us understand what motivates people at work. And there are 4 things that motivate people at work. Make a note of these, please. Write them down if you're taking some notes. The first thing that motivates us at work is called autonomy. And it's giving people the freedom to work on what matters for them. You're giving them the freedom to decide how they do their work, when they work. Give people autonomy. Stop micromanaging them. Give them autonomy. And that's the first thing that motivates people. The second thing that motivates people is mastery. Help me get better at what I do every day. Help me improve. Help me do more of the stuff I love, and give me feedback. Mastery is the second element. The third element is purpose, doing something for a higher purpose, which is kind of linked to where I've been talking about all afternoon. And finally, relationships. The people you work with, of course, are going to motivate us if we work with great people. So let's take a quick look at these. And I'm going to see, this is another interactive piece, please. In the chat, think about autonomy. What have you done to create autonomy? In the chat channel, please. The Zoom chat, interactive part of the talk, everyone. In the Zoom chat, what have you done, or how have you seen others create more autonomy to people? And as a reminder, autonomy means freedom to decide how they do their work, freedom on when they work, freedom on who they work with. What have you seen? And I'll give you some of my examples. Examples in the chat. What have you seen in terms of autonomy, please? How have you created more autonomy? I shall wait another few seconds. Okay, we've got one from Prasant. Thank you. Team members feeling that they've been trusted. Yeah, nice. Trust their decisions. Trust them and allow them to fail. Love it, Prasant. Rashmi, empowering them to take decisions. Yeah, support those decisions. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, allow them to make those decisions and support them. Fantastic suggestions. Tajasvi, having a hip sprint. What does hip mean? Giving them the freedom to bring, so an innovation sprint. Yeah, love it. Here's a few more ideas. Great suggestions. Here's a few more ideas. 10% time. Give them 10% time, and this is similar to your hip sprint. 10% time. Could be 10% to innovate, to learn. Whatever they want, yeah? 10% to do something different. Give up control. Give up control. Let them have that control over what they do. Involve them in setting their goals. So let them set their own goals rather than forcing goals on them, and allow them to work when they want and where they want, the hours of the day and the location. And COVID has helped with that for sure. Number 2 is mastery. In the chat channel, please. What have you seen around mastery? Now, let me remind you what mastery means. Mastery means helping people get better at something. Maybe they enjoy a certain skill or they've got certain skills. How can they get mastery at their craft? How do we help them get better? That's allowing them to learn or giving them feedback. What have you seen, please? Allow them to experiment is nice. Thank you, Rashmi. What else have you seen? How have you given them mastery? Helping them grow their skills and to learn. 1 or 2 more suggestions, please. What have you seen to increase mastery? Continuous learning is nice, Sridhar. Giving them space to learn, yeah? Permission to learn almost. Give them permission to learn. It's interesting with Singapore. I've done a lot of work with Singapore this year. So many people come on a training course on the weekend because they're not given permission to learn by their bosses, yeah? They're having to learn at the weekend. So give people space to learn. Thank you, Sridhar. Last one, or let me give you some examples. So we've covered the first one, the space and time for learning, ongoing training opportunities. Cross-skilling is a good one. So cross-skilling, in other words, teach them each other's jobs. A Goldilocks task. You remember Goldilocks from the nursery rhymes? The Goldilocks task. It's not too difficult, but it's not too easy. It's challenging enough. And then genuine two-way feedback. Genuine two-way feedback. And Prasanth, I love your example, support from the company to sponsor their learning interest. At DBS in Singapore, they created a scholarship where anyone in the company could ask to go on a training course. The company would pay for it. Guess what? Here was the catch. All you've got to do is teach it back to others at work. They would pay for your training. You just got to come and teach others, which I think is a great way to look at it. Yeah, we'll send you on a course. I think there's a budget of about $1,000 or $2,000. And in return, you teach this back to others at work. Phenomenal. Last one, purpose. We've been talking about purpose, doing something for a bigger reason. What have you got, please, in the chat? What have you done in the community with your teams? How have you helped people understand the bigger purpose? Either the bigger purpose of what they're doing at work, but how have you connected them with a bigger purpose beyond the office, please? Beyond the office, what have you seen? Purpose. How do we create purpose and meaning for people at work? Suggestions. What have you seen? Could be within the company in terms of your product or connecting them to the purpose of what you're doing as an organization, or it could be something beyond the workplace. What have we got? Any examples, please? Workshops and sessions. Thank you, Tejasvi. Thank you. What else? How have you created a sense of purpose? Connecting them with the why is beautiful, Rashmi. Connect with the why. Why are we doing this, yeah? Why are we doing this? What's CSR? Help me with that one, Rashmi, in the chat. But the purpose of what we're doing, often we overlook that. I remember coming to India on my first ever trip, and I was interviewing people in Bangalore who were working for different clients across the world. I said, what are you working on? And they told me, they said, oh, we're working this code. I said, why are you doing it? We don't know, we're just doing code. They didn't understand the why. Connect people with the why. Thank you, Rashmi. Corporate social responsibility, giving back to the society. And many organizations do this. And I was fortunate enough working for Combank that we did lots of this. So we've covered the giving the context and why. We came up with that. Well done. Making them time to get closer to the real customer. Yeah, help them get close to the real end customer. Connecting the team to the bigger picture of the company, and then volunteering opportunities to give back. There's copies of the slides with all of these top tips that you can get after the class. I've made all the slides available. So ask your team what motivates them, and then open spaces for them to have more autonomy, helping them grow mastery, and connect them to something meaningful. This is going to help make a big difference in your team. Some of the specific things that I'll give you in terms of ideas. What I did was called skilled volunteering. And skilled volunteering is when you actually go into a company and use your skills. Maybe you're a Scrum Master, maybe you're a business analyst. You use your skills to help them deliver their work. So you go into a company for a few hours or for a few days and you help them with some work. It's called skilled volunteering. That's what a lot of what I've been doing has been around. Team building volunteering is where you take a team of people to a not-for-profit and you do something together. Maybe you're going to do some weeding in the garden of the local church, or you're painting a wall, or whatever it is you're doing, but you take a team just to do team building. So you don't get involved in their core business as a skilled volunteer would, but you just do something of value to help the not-for-profit. The other suggestion with Scrum and Agile is that if you're working with a local church or a local community or a local group, how can you help them run projects with Agile? The skills you have, you will be amazed. People in the community need your skills in terms of helping them work better. How can you help them with that? There's a few ideas for you. I'm going to finish the talk with the video. How do you create a movement? I wasn't expecting to create a movement. Check out this video. You're going to love it. How to correct a movement. Watch the video carefully. Watch the video carefully.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So a great video on how to create a movement in terms of getting people behind the idea. I was the lone nut. The first followers were the other Agile coaches who helped me. Let's just finish with the impact that we have. Let's finish with the impact, then we'll go to some questions. The impact was this. We have trained more than 15 not-for-profit organizations. We have trained more than 1,000 people in Australia in not-for-profit organizations. They have had 16,000 or more hours of training, and it's valued at 1.2 million. But to me, it's not about the value of this financially. It's about the impact that it's had to all of these amazing organizations. Let's go to Q&A. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Sam, inspirational will be an understatement, I should say, seeing all this. But we do have a question from Tejasvi. As per Agile, we say people over process, but still in reality, we being the Scrum Masters are responsible to check if Agile is being followed in the design manner. So isn't this contradictory to what has been stated in Scrum Guide?
I mean, the Scrum Guide talks about people and process, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. But if I look at the Scrum Master and what your job is as a Scrum Master, your job is to create a high-performing team. Let's not lose sight of that. Because I focused on the people doesn't mean I don't care about the outcomes. If you look after the people, they will deliver amazing outcomes, and you will get a high-performing team. It is about results. It's not just about let's be nice to each other. Great question. Do we have more questions? I know we're close to time. Any more questions?
We don't have one, but there is some amount of appreciation from Prashant. It was a great session. It helped me to understand why people care is important.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who've joined this session. Enjoy the rest of Agile India, everyone. Thank you for having me again. This is my 4th time coming to Agile India. It's been a pleasure to help you learn today. Enjoy the rest of the day.